guessing that you've heard this story before. Okay, let me just set the stage real quick. So there was a Syrian army captain. His name was Naaman. He had leprosy. Leprosy is kind of like a horrible skin disease, right? And he goes to see Elisha the prophet to get healed. But instead of Elisha laying hands on him and praying for him, Elisha just tells him, go wash in the Jordan River 7 times. And Naaman is all, nah, I'm good. He actually says something along the lines of, are you kidding me? Those other prophets do more than that when they lay hands on people. This guy just wants me to wash my hands 7 times. So Naaman goes back home, very angry, very upset. But his servant, the one who's been with him a long time, says, hey, listen, why don't you just do what the prophet told you to do? Go wash yourself and you'll be healed. So Naaman does it. It's kind of like a reluctant obedience, right? He goes and he washes himself in the Jordan River 7 times and he comes back healed. The story ends. Now, if you're familiar with the story, feel free to skip ahead. But I want to walk through this story again and kind of apply it to our lives today. Okay, so Naaman, the general, the army captain, he has leprosy. Okay, it's not just any old skin disease. It's leprosy. Leprosy is incurable. If you had leprosy, nobody could heal you. There was no medication. You were shunned by society. Everybody stayed away from you because you had leprosy. Okay, now, Naaman doesn't realize this, but he's actually very sick. He needs help. He needs a healer. But when he goes to the prophet, he doesn't get the answer that he wants. Okay, it's not that Elisha didn't want to heal him, but sometimes God works in mysterious ways. Sometimes the answer to your problem isn't going to be the thing that you expect. Sometimes the solution to your situation looks impossible, but if we would just do what God tells us to do, even if it looks impossible, we can see the power of God at work in our lives. See, Elisha gives Naaman an assignment, and Naaman says, no thanks. He basically tells the prophet to kick rocks. He's like, I'm not doing that. So what happens? Well, Naaman goes back home, and he's still sick. His servant, though, has a different perspective. His servant, who's probably been with Naaman for years, knows his master, knows his heart. And he goes, hey, listen, I think the best thing that you could do is just go and do what the prophet told you to do. Now, it's interesting here that the servant didn't say, oh, Elisha is the greatest prophet. We should go to him. We should do what he says. No, he just said, go do what the prophet told you to do. But notice what the servant girl said. She didn't know. She couldn't know how powerful the Jordan River was. But she knew that Naaman needed to do what the prophet had told him to do. See, sometimes when we are so close to a situation, we can't see the solution. We're too emotional about the situation. We've been dealing with it for too long, and we don't see that God has a way out for us. But sometimes God will use somebody else, maybe somebody closer to us, to help us see what we need to do. And so Naaman goes and he does it. He washes in the Jordan River 7 times, and he is healed. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a pretty simple instruction. Like, I'm just gonna go wash myself, and then I'm gonna be healed. Yeah, it's that simple. But how often do we wait until the last possible moment to obey God? How often do we wait until we're desperate to take action? The truth is, if we would just do what God tells us to do when He tells us to do it, we wouldn't have to wait until the last minute. We wouldn't have to be desperate. We wouldn't have to be at the end of ourselves. So may I encourage you today, whatever your situation may be, however hopeless it might seem, whenever you hear the voice of the Lord, just do what He tells you to do. When you do what He tells you to do, you'll be healed. Well, I hope that blessed you. I hope that encouraged you. Don't forget to subscribe and share the video. And until next time, remember, you are amazing.